Hey everyone, my name is Zeke. I'm the lead developer for ThemeJuice. Today we're going to go over how to create a new project using ThemeJuice. If you haven't already, go ahead and log in up here in the top right. This will enable auto updates and make sure you always have the latest version. On the left here, you'll see various options for your virtual machine. I've already created and initialized my virtual machine. If you haven't already done so, check out one of our earlier screencasts before continuing. As you can see, my machine is currently powered off. Underneath this, you'll see your project listing. From here, you'll be able to access and manage projects from their individual dashboards. So let's go ahead and get started and create a new project. So down here at the bottom, just hit a new project. The first step will be the project name. This name is used internally by ThemeJuice for things like your Apache configuration and directory names. Only lowercase letters, numbers, and dashes are allowed. So we can go ahead and type in ThemeJuice demo. For your project domain, you can have any valid domain as long as it ends in .dev. So you can use a subdomain if you want. ThemeJuice ships with an internal DNS server, so it'll resolve every .dev domain to the Graph virtual machine. So you'll be able to use subdomain multi-sites pretty easily, and it doesn't require you to edit your host file for every domain you want to add, which is really nice. So we can just go ahead and do themejuicedemo.dev. Next is the project location. This is your project's web root. If it's not an empty directory, ThemeJuice will assume that you're wanting to set up an existing project rather than start from scratch with a starter template. So it'll disable a few options if it's not empty. And we'll get into starter templates next. You can go ahead and create a new directory, ThemeJuice demo. So next up is a starter template. Starter templates are essentially blueprints for when you create a new project. No one likes to install the same themes and plugins and whatever else you do every time you create a new WordPress site. This kind of automates all that. You can create one starter template that you use every time. So out of the box, ThemeJuice comes with two template options. One is Sprout, which is the starter template we use here at Produce Results, the company behind ThemeJuice. Sprout uses an alternative WordPress architecture. It's built to be deployed to multiple different environments like dev and staging, production. It does require a few development dependencies, so if you select it, you'll get a link here to make sure that you have all those installed. For now, we're just going to use the default WordPress one, but if you wanted to use your own, you can select Other and then put the URL for your repository. A starter template is just a basic Git repository. It does need to be an entire WordPress installation, so not just a theme, but it can include any themes that you like to start out with or your own set of plugins that you like to use. And you can host it anywhere from GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. As long as you're able to clone it from a terminal, you'll be able to use it here. So we can go ahead and select WordPress. We can select our WordPress version. If you need an older version, let us know and we'll get it added in. For now, we've just started from 4.0 forward. So we can go ahead and just use the master branch. Next up is a juice file. You'll be asked if your current starter template implements a juice file. A juice file is a powerful configuration file that it can be used to simplify your build system, compose together commands. It's similar to npm scripts in that it allows you to define commands that can be invoked from your project dashboard. These can be anything from running grunt to compile Sass, running a transpiler like Babel to use ES6. You could run your tests. Really anything that you want to automate or make available within your project dashboard. You can define a command and then you'll be able to invoke those commands with just a click of a button. The juice file will also contain deployment configuration if you want to deploy your project over SSH using ThemeJuice, which we'll have another screencast on soon. Next, you'll be asked if this project is a WordPress project. ThemeJuice isn't limited to only WordPress, even though that's our focus at the moment. Anything that runs on a LAMP stack is likely to be able to run on ThemeJuice, such as a Drupal site, a Magento site, even a static HTML site. For now, we'll just leave that on. Next up is the config type. This option is used for starter templates that implement an alternate way to define configuration, like our starter template Sprout or a popular project called Bedrock, for example. These two projects use a .environment file to house things like database credentials and other constants that are then imported into a base WP config file. It allows you to use the same code base on multiple stages since you only have to change one file, and that one file is not version controlled. So it kind of avoids the headache of committing your WP config file to version control when it contains sensitive credentials, most likely your production credentials. You know, that can be a headache if you have multiple developers working on the project and you're using local development environments. It's likely that somebody's going to commit their development environment and replace the production credentials, or they'll accidentally commit the staging credentials up to the repository. So using a .environment file kind of just simplifies that and makes sure that your repository is environment agnostic. So, you know, you can deploy your code base to any stage, and all you have to do is create a single environment file, and it'll be loaded automatically into the config file. So by default, since this is just a basic WordPress project, it'll automatically select WP config. Next, you can choose whether you want ThemeJuice to create a local WP CLI config file. This file will contain an alias to your development environment so that you can run WP CLI commands from your host machine. That way you don't have to SSH into your virtual machine, change directories, and then run your WP CLI command. Version 0.24 of WP CLI included this feature, so you will have to have WP CLI installed on your machine to take advantage of this. But I recommend that you do that. WP CLI is a great project. So we'll leave that checked. You'll be able to choose if this project needs a database. Ours does. Lastly, you'll be given the option to import a database. It's worth noting that the database file needs to be within your project's web root so that it'll be able to be available inside of the virtual machine. If you're importing a database from something like a production site, you'll need to run a search and replace on the URLs when importing it. You can either do that manually before importing using your favorite text editor, or you can do it afterwards using WP CLI's search and replace command. So we can go ahead and create our project. Now we have our project ready. So this is your project dashboard. We'll have a screencast that goes into the details on all the various options here. But we can go ahead and go up here and hit View Project. And we can go through the famous 5-minute install. And there we have it. You have a local WordPress site ready for you. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out using our support system on our website. I hope you enjoy using ThemeJuice. Thanks for watching.